I'm about to tell you why 90% of real estate agents are completely broke, and it has nothing to do with the market, the competition, or even their experience level, and why 10% of real estate agents are capturing 43% of all of the listings in the United States. It's not because they're smarter, more talented, or even have better connections. They know something that 90% of agents are missing entirely. I'm about to share the exact framework that separates the top 10% from everyone else, and it has nothing to do with your resume, your experience, or how many cool awards you have hanging all over your wall. So, if you're tired of competing on price, tired of justifying your commission, and tired of watching other agents win listings that should have been yours, this is going to change everything for you. But before we dive in, I want you to unlock our 5 money models of a listing beast in the description below. This is the complete framework that's helped thousands of agents build million-dollar listing businesses, and it's yours for free. So, here's what most agents get wrong when they think success comes from selling themselves. They walk into a listing appointment with fancy brochures and selling drone footage and a resume longer than a CVS receipt, hoping to impress their way to a signature. But here's the brutal truth. When you sell yourself, you become a commodity, and commodities always compete on price. Now, I learned this lesson the hard way early in my career, so picture this. I'm 23 years old, wearing a suit that's too big for me, sweating through a Florida summer, walking into what I thought would be an easy listing appointment. Now, at the time, I worked on a team for one of the state's top producers, and I figured her reputation and sales record would carry me to victory. So I nailed the presentation, I was confident, polished, and I thought I was ready to close. So I put the paper down, I slid that pen across the table with complete certainty. Then the sellers looked at me and asked one devastating question. If your mentor is so amazing, why don't we just have her come over and sell the house? And in that moment, I realized I was trying to sell borrowed credibility instead of my own value. And that's when everything changed. Let me tell you about Laura. She was 20 years old, brilliant, eager, and could run circles around agents with decades of experience. She role-played perfectly, made the calls, booked the appointments, but she looked like she had just graduated from middle school. So no matter how much she leveraged my name, my reputation, our team's accolades, nobody would really list with her. So one day, she knocked on my office door and she was pretty much ready to quit. Not because she wasn't good enough, but because she was getting crushed by a credibility gap she couldn't bridge. That's when I realized we were sending her out unarmed with a resume, and my resume at that, expecting her to close deals she wasn't equipped to win. So we locked ourselves in a room and created what became Sold in 65, our structured, foolproof credibility system that even someone as young as her that would get carded at a PG-13 movie could deliver flawlessly. So weeks later, Laura walked into a listing appointment with this new program and strategy, and she wasn't selling herself anymore. She was presenting a clear and undeniable plan that solved exactly what the sellers wanted. What happened? She walked out with signatures. So Laura went on to close 11 homes that year right before her 21st birthday. She didn't need more experience or borrowed credentials. She needed a clearly defined program that actually solved sellers' problems. And here's the secret. Every seller has 3 main anxieties, but you can usually only dominate 2 to 3 of them effectively. So when you promise everything, sellers assume you're either full of crap or completely average at everything. Now, those 3 anxieties are they want the maximum price, right? They don't want to leave any money on the table. They want speed. They want it sold yesterday. No one enjoys taking a long time to sell. They want minimum hassle. They don't want to have their lives turned upside down with showings and one-off open houses. So when you identify the seller's problems and become ridiculously good at solving them, this immediately positions you as the premium expert, not just another agent. So in our Sold in 65 program, we focus on all 3 main pain points. For maximum price, we strategically price it against the active market to create a bidding war between qualified buyers. We funnel agents and buyers into a 1-hour VIP showing window on our launch weekend to create social proof and fear of loss, and a lot of other secret sauce that's exclusive to our Listing Beast members. Now, For the fastest sell, when we're driving everyone through that 1 hour VIP showing window, we do a pre-checklist that we do before we take the property to the market that creates a frenzy that produces offers, great offers, a lot of times over asking offers, 65 hours or less of being on the market. Now, for minimum hassle, we would like to do the next step and remove seller stress completely by having no open houses, no one-off showings, and offer security with top-of-the-line warranties and streamlined closing processes. So let's talk about now how you're going to name your program. Your program name isn't just marketing fluff, it's the critical first impression sellers have of your services. So let's take a look at Sold in 65. It has sold in it, which is what sellers want, and a time frame, 65 hours. It immediately communicates the outcome. Compare that to Susie Swanson's 62-step selling program. If that was on a billboard, you'd have no idea what it means or curiosity about how it can help you. You want you to think Geico, State Farm, Liberty Mutual, Liberty, 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 short, memorable names that stick. Now, here's where most agents completely blow it, and then they go and set their commission based on a coffee shop gossip or whatever they heard at a weekend seminar. That's like performing surgery based on a YouTube video. Real professionals don't negotiate their rate because they deliver clear outcomes. So when was the last time your heart surgeon offered a friends and family discount, or if you do this surgery with me, the next surgery will only be X percentage? Never, because real value commands real compensation. Your compensation should reflect three things. The big financial wins you deliver, which means your strategic pricing creates urgency and nets sellers tens of thousands of dollars more. The exceptional experience you provide. You're going to be providing this concierge service that handles everything so sellers never break a sweat. And then the peace of mind process provides your structured system is so predictable that sellers sleep peacefully instead of lying awake worrying. So let me break down the exact framework that transforms agents from order takers to trusted advisors. Step 1, we have to identify your target client. Ask yourself, does this client have the money to pay me what I'm worth? Now, I hate to sound cold, but if you can't make enough money for your services, you'll sacrifice your time with your family and everything else that matters to you. Think about it like this. You could be one of the best resume writers on earth, and let's say you charge $2,000 for that service. Well, who's your market? People who need resumes written, who generally don't have jobs? Oof. You see the problem? We have to establish major problems in step 2. What specific pain points does your target market have? So if you're targeting family-oriented neighborhoods, maybe it's difficult selling during the school season, or homes look like a crayon factory exploded, so you help them prep with the cleanup. Your job is to identify 2 to 3 major problems and create solutions that remove those pain points completely. And then step 3, install proven strategies. This is where you differentiate yourself. If you're experienced, then use data that shows you that you outperform the market. If your listings sell at 98% of list price while the market average is 94%, that's a powerful selling point. Now, if you're new, focus on what you'll do differently. So early in my career, I would door knock 150 homes for every listing. I did agent accompanied showings. I made calls that other agents wouldn't make, and I made a lot of them to get the home sold. Then step 4, we have to name your program. Now, we want to keep it simple. And of course, we want it to be memorable. It should include the outcome like sold. Doesn't have to, but it makes it better. And ideally a time frame or a benefit. Test it like this. If you heard it on the radio and you were listening to the radio, would you understand what it means? Or is it catchy enough for you to remember? Would there be a jingle that went along with it? Remember, they care about themselves, not you or who you are. And I know that hurts. Step 5, price your program for premium value. What that means is the more you do, the more you make. Never be the bottom feeder. Never compete on price. The difference between 3% commission and 2% commission on a $500,000 home is $5,000. But when you factor in your time and expenses, that discount often means you're working for minimum wage. So you need to position yourself as the premium option. You want to be the most expensive agent who provides the most value and the most proven success without the most headache. Then step 6, we want to remove all the friction. You want to map out the entire process from A to Z and identify any bottlenecks. Do you have too much paperwork? Is your inspection process clunky? Are your systems automated? Create a frictionless experience that provides happier clients, smoother transactions, and that will create scalability. So let me tell you about Deborah, one of our clients who implemented this exact framework. She's doubled her production and GCI every single year and is on track now to make $1 million in GCI this year. The difference? She stopped selling herself and started selling a proven system. She went from competing with every other agent to becoming the obvious choice in the market. So think about this for a moment. When you walk into a listing appointment, what are you really selling? Are you selling your personality, your charm, your resume, or are you selling a solution to their problems? The agents who dominate their markets understand that distinction. They don't show up hoping to impress. They show up with a clear plan that addresses exactly what keeps sellers awake at night. Now, here's one more way to think about it. Imagine you needed brain surgery. Would you choose the surgeon who talks about their golf game and shows you pictures of all of their awards? Or would you choose the surgeon who explains exactly how they're going to solve your problem, what the process looks like, and what results you can expect? Well, the choice is pretty obvious. Yet most real estate agents are still trying to win business with personality instead of process and strategy. So let me share one more story that illustrates this perfectly. I knew an agent who was incredibly charismatic, right? We've all met that agent. Everyone loved him. He could make friends with anyone in 5 minutes, but he struggled to get listings because he never had a clear answer to the question, what exactly are you going to do to sell my house? He would talk about his experience, his market knowledge, his relationships, but he never had a structured plan or a solution that solved their problems. Now, compare that to another agent I know who's definitely a lot more introverted. She's in no way the life of the party, but she has a crystal clear program that solves sellers' problems in the market that she's practiced presenting in. And she's so good at it that it builds trust and confidence, and the results that she provides, not her resume, how long she's been in business, all the homes she sold, any of that. She shows them exactly what will happen on day 1, day 7, and day 14. She removes all the mystery and uncertainty, and then guess who gets more listings? The introvert with the plan and the proven strategy every single time. Because sellers don't hire agents to be their friends. We think they want us to be friends, and many will become our friends. But even your friends want the most money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of headache. So they hire agents to solve their problems. And problems are solved with systems, not smiles. Now you might be thinking, Brendan, this sounds great in theory, but how do I actually build this program? Well, here's the truth. You probably already have most of the components. Whether you've taken 100 listings or this is your first time switching from buyers to sellers, you have knowledge and experience that can be packaged into a powerful program. The key is organizing that knowledge into a clear and repeatable system. So first, start by writing down everything you do for a seller from the moment you meet them until the day you close. Every phone call, every email, every piece of marketing. Then look for patterns. What works consistently? What creates the best results? What do sellers appreciate most? That's the foundation of your program. Next, identify the gaps. Where do sellers get confused? Where do deals fall apart? Where do you lose momentum? Those gaps become opportunities to add value and differentiate yourself. For example, if you always stress about inspections, and so does your seller, have a way to solve that issue and build that into your program. Maybe you create a pre-inspection checklist, offer a home warranty, have relationships with reliable contractors, turn their biggest fears into your biggest strength. Remember, the goal isn't to reinvent real estate. The goal is to package what you already do into a clear, compelling system that sellers can understand and trust. And when you do this right, something magical happens. Sellers stop comparing you to other agents. They stop negotiating your compensation because you're not just another agent anymore. You're the agent with the proven plan and strategy. That's super agent. You're the agent who has their back. You're the agent who makes their life easier instead of harder. And that's worth paying money for. So here's what I want you to understand. Your resume won't save you. Your personality won't save you. Your drone footage and fancy brochures and twilight photography won't save you. What will save you is having a clearly defined, structured program that solves real seller problems for real people. When you build a program instead of selling yourself, there are 3 things that happen. You become irreplaceable. You effortlessly command higher commissions, and your business becomes scalable and enjoyable. The agents who are capturing 43% of the listings nationwide aren't working harder, they're working smarter. They have systems and processes and programs that do the selling for them. So if you're ready to stop competing on price and start commanding premium fees, grab our 5 money models of a listing beast in the description below and check out my next video on how to take 16 listings a year or more with a tiny database. And if you found a value in this video, make sure to subscribe, smash that notification bell. We're releasing new strategies every week for you to dominate your market. And remember, you don't need more hustle, you need a better system. Build your program, price it confidently, and watch your business transform.